G'day peeps, Liesl here once more, and this morning I'm delighted to be bringing us the very latest megabits. Yeah, so bits between the bits, incorporating bits from the back burner. So let's waffle and straight in. Now, I have been quite busy behind the scenes, gathering bits, going through all your wonderful suggestions and comments, which have yielded some pretty good ideas. I've made some pretty nice discoveries as well on the internet. So yeah, I will explain. So last time I think we were basically discussing things like the stomp stick, yeah, and up and coming builds. Now the stomp stick is having a complete overhaul, to be honest. Yeah. I think I can improve on the design. There were one or two features that I didn't like really. One or two design issues, which I think I've managed to iron out. I will not discuss that too much at this point because it's a bit long-winded, but I will be bringing us some videos on the build for the stump stick. Yeah, as I am going back to the workshop. And I did think it's a while since we had a build video, really. So I'm going to film the builds. Uploading, as you know, has been a little bit problematic from here. I think they're upgrading the infrastructure. Where I live is very remote. The phone lines, etc., are still on analog. And they're upgrading to digital, which I think may be affecting things. I may go to my provider and see if I can get a slightly faster upload, upgrade the package a bit or whatever. But more of that later. I may well upload this in town actually, where there is Wi-Fi, a little bit more zingy and quicker. But if not, hopefully we'll have this on by tomorrow anyway. I'm recording this very early in the morning on the 3rd of October, which is Friday. As I look out the window, the sun is just beginning to rise over the mountains. Very beautiful. So yeah, I'll keep in the noise down a little bit as it's only about 7:30 in the morning. So, talking of town, I did go into town, yeah, where I did find this, which you may well know is a barong. If I pronounce that wrong, do forgive me. Yeah, it's an Irish ethnic drum. As you can see, I've started to adapt it. Yeah, as I do plan to make this into either a kind of banjo diddly bow, or I might make a 3-string kind of banjo out of it. If you have any suggestions for that, please do leave it in the comments. Steve Strings, shout out to you, as I did see your video where you made a very similar instrument using a tambourine. Yeah, what a marvellous idea, I thought. So yeah, I decided to do something very much the same. Big shout out to you, Steve. You can see on the back, it's quite well constructed. This is the part you would hold. And it's played like that with what's called a bone. It's a bone-shaped stick where you sweep it across. If you've not seen one of these, I do not have the bone to hand, and as it is early in the morning, I probably should not make too much noise with this. But I was very interested to see, basically, what kind of a sound we would get with this. I may well put a back on there, or I may just leave it open, because I think it'll make a very good noise, whatever. Noise, sound, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, kind of very simply, that's where I've got with this one. Yeah, do put in the comments whether you think that this should be a 1-stringer or a 3-stringer. Yeah, I'll leave the choice up to you. whatever's most popular, I will endeavour to build. So yeah, very briefly, that's that one. Moving swiftly on. Okay. Now, I was delighted to make a discovery on eBay, which was basically these rather wonderful wine boxes. Here's a shallow one, and here is a slightly deeper one. Fairly inexpensive, no more than a cigar box really. This one was about £9. Yeah, the seller did say to me that I can have 10% off any more that I buy. So I bought this second one here. Yeah, it did occur to me that we are, well, less than a month away now from Samhain, or Halloween if you prefer. Thinking back to last year, we did have a couple of builds, didn't we? The Flying V and the casket shaped diddly bow. Although being from the UK and with my UK vernacular, I would probably call that a coffin. So like the coffin diddly bow. I did take it upon myself this year, as time and etc. has been kind of whipping by, and as usual I've left this a little bit late, to decide on this year's Samhain/Halloween build. And I have decided to build, out of necessity may I say, a 2-string bass. Yeah, a 2-string horizontal bass. And I also intend to build an upright bass. I will discuss these more. If time allows, I'll build it anyway, but I'm going to start with the 2-string resonator bass, as I did think it might be quite fun to add a resonator to this. Yeah, and to see how that sounds. So I'll be using this box, and it's going to be a full scale bass. So yeah, quite a long scale, probably about 33 inches, which I think is a good average. Yes, which we are going to call the abominable bass. So that's on the way, peeps, and I will film the build on this one. Yes, because I think it's well worth it. Yeah, basically one good reason for that is how popular the old one was. If you've been around a while, you will remember that I did build a 2-string bass before. Yeah, you know, every mistake that I could make, basically I did. The neck I made years ago, long before I actually completed the project. So I'm going to go a different way about it this time. It will have a straight through neck. Yes, hopefully it will be fitted with pickups. Yeah, we'll have a resonator on there, and a little bit of a kind of spooky Halloween kind of a theme. Yeah, that's what I plan to do. So watch this space, and there we are. Yeah, moving on. Okay. The balalaika. I'm still getting to grips with the balalaika. I've named Clara, which means bright and clear, as I am hoping that that is the sound that will be produced by this very artisan prototype folk balalaika. You can see the strings are hanging off at the moment. Being that it is fretted, I thought we need to sort of set the intonation on this. It did work out actually. I tested it on the 12th fret, getting the harmonic and then playing the 12th, and they did sound the same. but there was something with the tension that I didn't quite like. And I've been trying to work out what that is really. I think the bridge needs a slight height adjustment. Yeah. And possibly the nut. Now, I do have behind me here a genuine, very nice vintage balalaika. Yeah, which came my way. As you can see, the machine heads have been removed. This balalaika was manufactured in Russia in 1964, so she is 61 years old. Beautiful work, I must say, in very good condition. If you look on the back of the neck, you can see that she is in good condition. I have removed the machine heads, and they are soaking in vinegar, distilled vinegar, or white vinegar. Yeah, because an awful lot of gunk, 61 years worth of sort of gunk basically has come off the machine heads. They were very stiff. I did look to replacing them, but getting parts for these and even strings is very difficult these days, it would seem. Now, I can sort of play a balalaika. I had a very cheap one years ago. It wasn't anything as nice as this, which I did sort of learn to play very basically. Yeah, but it's been a very long time since I played one of these. But I do hope to have her restored very soon. She has a floating bridge, what have you, along with the mandolin that we spoke about earlier. And I did manage to source some strings from Germany. Yeah, not cheap, I must say. But as I say, these things seem to be a little bit more difficult to get your hands on these days. Comparing the two, I think the fretting on this one is quite reasonable. I don't know if you can really see. I know it's a bit hard to compare. And initial tests on this, even though the bridge height and the action wasn't so good, were good. As you know, really, I'm not a great builder of fretted instruments. In fact, this is only the third fretted instrument I've ever built. But I must say, I'm quite pleased with it. I think our fret calculation did work out pretty well. She made a reasonable sound, but there was something of the string tension that wasn't quite right. I'm not sure. I may move the saddle up onto the body. We'll see. I think that might improve things. Going back to 2 years ago at Halloween, when we did build Elsa, who was a large hollow body, I do remember I ended up putting the saddle on the front of the instrument rather than on the back, and it did kind of help with the action. The sound was good. I do not have that instrument anymore. No, it was one of the things that had to go really when I moved, because I just didn't have room for it. So yeah, sadly that's gone. And we do have our friend with us here, Fred. Poor old Fred, lost his head. I hear crickets chirping. I did it again, didn't I, peeps? Okay, I'm very sorry. No more jokes. Okay, moving swiftly on. So we will have Fred with us, yeah. And there he is. Moving swiftly on. Right, so yeah, that's the state of play with the balalaika at the moment, really. Now, I have been, yes, on the internet and various places, procuring nice boxes, and I have come across some fairly rare boxes with which I am very pleased. So, I do have this pair of old UK King Edward cigar boxes. Very nice. I got these from one from Etsy and one from eBay. You can see they're old. They have no QR codes or barcodes or anything on the back. Yeah, probably from the 1980s actually. Oh, this one does have a barcode, I beg your pardon. This one's from the 80s, 1980s. This one's slightly older. And yeah, I do intend to make instruments out of these. They are cardboard. Now, if you cast your mind back again, if you've been around for some time, I did have the Swisher Sweets Mr. Swish Diddly Bow. Sadly, I don't have that anymore either. But I thought we could do something similar with this. It is small, but I say if you do come across small boxes, there are various things you can do with these. I have a lot of offcuts of very thin wood from when we made the balalaika out of the decorator box, and I thought I could use that to line this. They do make a really good sound. So that's something that I'll probably do as a bit of a side build, just a bit of a passion project really. Yeah, and we'll see how we go with these. Yeah, I'm quite excited about those. Yeah. Now, I came across this in the charity shop. Yeah, it cost me 50p. That's right. To me, it does look like a rather large resonator, and I have no idea what to do with this. But if you've any suggestions, I would love to hear them. So please, if you've any suggestions for this, and keep it clean. I'm joking, of course. And do pop them in the comments. Yeah. And we'll see what we can do with these. Yeah, so that's that really. 50p. You can't go wrong is what I thought. Makes a good sound. So there that is. So that's on the back burner. Yeah. And moving swiftly on. Now, this rather large wine box. I was very pleased to find this because I wanted a box this size, and these decorator boxes, they cost ridiculous money. This was a heck of a lot cheaper. Again, it was less than 10 quid. It was about 8 or 9 quid, I think. 8 or 9 pounds sterling. It's very well constructed. It's the sort of thing I think that you see maybe at weddings and stuff where they have the box with straw and then bottles of champagne or something like that in there. Yeah, and I have found a good source for these. Like I say, 8 or 9 pounds, so it's a few quid, but I think it's worth it. Rummaging through my junk pile, excuse me. Oh, it's getting itch in here. It's actually, the heating just came on, so it's starting to warm up. I have this old metal pole which used to have an ornament on it. It was part of an ornamental stand, but it's threaded at the end. Now I thought that would make a good spike to go into the bottom of our upright base. I've no idea, I've not tried it, but there was the inspiration for it. A lot of these things, like I say, we did build in the past, and we no longer have. So a lot of these builds really are coming from necessity. Yeah. So yeah, I intend to do that one. It will probably be a 1-string bass, and I may well attempt to do a scarf joint actually for the headstock on this one, as I could do with practice. I did discover a way that you can do a scarf joint without having a mitre box, because I don't have a mitre box at the moment, or at least not a very large one. I've got a small one. But you need to be accurate, right? So I may well film that, yeah, and video that. Along with 1 or 2 other things like how to clean up old machine heads and that sort of thing. Yeah, hoping to anyway. Very much hope so. Yeah, and there it is. Another thing I was delighted to find, and I did pay a few quid for this, but it's very rare, is this old Dunhill cigar box. I kind of like that because it's very sort of British. Yeah, and I've never seen one of these anywhere. So I did purchase this from eBay or Etsy, one of the two. It came with very kind compliments from the seller. Again, it's quite small, but having used these small slim boxes in the past, they do make quite good instruments, especially if you fit a piezo. So we'll do something with this. It might well be something diatonically fretted. It might well be. I do intend to do a couple more fretted builds, as I've kind of become interested in those. Yeah. So, or again, if you have any suggestions for this little slim box, do put them in the comments. Yeah. Because I think it's well worth a go. I do. So there's that one. Now looking around the room. Yeah. One thing. One sec. Here we have our old friend, Paco. If you remember Paco, is our Rocky Patel cigar box, 3-string cigar box guitar. Now I did go back to the workshop with Paco, and I've basically done a little bit more shaping on his neck. Yeah. I've added some clear lacquer just to give him a nice smooth neck. He is a 25.5-inch scale, so a full scale, as I say, 3-string cigar box guitar. His pegs are still loose at the moment. He's had new machine heads, which I think kind of suit this instrument. And yeah, that's basically it. I went in because the neck was a little bit rough, and spent a little bit of time just with a rasp, a hand rasp and a hand file, and just shape that neck a little bit more. I've got strings to go on him. That feels lovely now. You know, it is worth revisiting your builds, I think, from time to time. I tend to get them on the road, if you like, you know, give them a go, see how they sound. But that's something else that I've been doing recently, really, is to kind of like revamp and, you know, tinker about with some of the previous builds. As I remember, yeah, his saddle's off at the moment because I did clean up the front of the box. Yeah. And the back. I do love Paco. It's one of the few instruments that I managed to salvage when I moved, really. I thought, he's coming with me no matter what. You know, I basically told myself, you've got to choose one. And Paco was the one, so there you go. I do look forward to having him restrung, and we can see how he sounds then. Very much looking forward to that. So I have been quite busy, really, just looking around to see what else we might have. And I think for the time being, that's about it. Going back over some of the builds, I was delighted actually with the response to Zoe, who is our little Gitty Bow. Now, I know I've banged on about doing the colour stain so many times, and I still haven't come up with any videos really to emphasise and prove the point. I do intend, let me put it that way, to do the full range of colour stains on the upright bass, and I will put these on camera because I think it's well worth it. But one thing I would say is the beauty of making the homemade stains, which I've found over the use of commercial stains, is that they do age naturally. Like Zoe, in fact, I think Zoe's got darker. Like the colours have gotten darker on her. All I used on her was tea and coffee, yeah, no other colours. And I'm quite happy, you know, with how she's turned out. Just a little spring in there. The bridge is a ukulele bridge which I had knocking around. Yeah, it's made of rosewood, so it's quite nice. You can hear her pinging away. I slightly adjusted the height of the nut, not the height, the position of the nut on her. And she's still slapping the front of the box a little bit when you hit the higher position. As you can tell, so yeah, I may do something to adjust the height of the bridge on her, which is pretty simple. She's a one-string instrument. There are no frets or anything, so really you're at liberty to like have the action as high as you like on these, and that is what I love about a diddly bow. Going back, I do remember that our, and I can't see it looking around. No, in true Liesl style, I did not bring it in with me. But the cookie tin banjo that we made some time ago, yeah, again, shout out Steve Strings. Basically, I came across what I would call a biscuit tin anyway, a cookie tin, right, another one. And I have got a new set of tin snips, which seem pretty good. I didn't have any when I built the last one. And so I used a drill and a Dremel, basically. I don't have the Dremel anymore. I'm not over keen on them, to be honest. I prefer to use hand tools, as you know. But I got some new tin snips. So I think we're going to make a nice, tidy, little biscuit tin banjo or banjo bow or something like that. Yeah, with this one. Fairly straightforward. And last but by no means least, a big shout out to Liza at Psyche Opera, Dr. Liza. Yes, now if you've not watched her channel, I strongly suggest you do. She's very innovative with these builds. Yeah, a lot more technical than me. There's some very good advice on there. Do check out Psyche Opera. On there, she has built what is known as a leg fiddle. Yeah, so a fiddle that's played on the upright, and it's absolutely amazing. She used copper wire, I believe, to make movable frets, as she did inform us on her video. In the medieval days, they had movable frets. Now, I did look into this, and yes, indeed they did, which is like quite amazing, actually. I was quite excited about that. I was so excited and so impressed. Do check out her leg fiddle. It is an absolutely beautiful, incredible instrument. It really is. And the sound from it, you know, it sounds amazing. Yeah, it sounds like what I would call a Viking harp. I know that's not the right name for it. There are several names for it, one of which I can't even pronounce, right? So, yeah, but it has a very deep, melodic, kind of ethereal sound to it, this instrument. It's absolutely beautiful. She does explain that the whole build on there, and she did have the heart to show the pitfalls, the slight snags with this instrument, which she did go back and basically sort them out. And yeah, I really would suggest and do subscribe to Psyche Opera if you haven't done already. There's a whole wealth of information on there. And thank you very much, Liza. I'm very grateful to you, as always, because, you know, I've learned a lot from watching your channel. So yeah, this will be the leg fiddle, upright fiddle. Yeah, and more will be revealed. So I saved the best till last, yeah, because I thought that's always a good thing to do. Yeah, again, many thanks to you, Liza. And for now, peeps, that's about it. You know, as I say, hopefully this will be billed as the rest of the year video, because I think these little projects here are going to take us up at least till the end of the year. Yeah, if not longer, perhaps into the new year as well. Yeah, so plenty there to get our teeth into. And yeah, really looking around, I think that's about it, peeps. So if you've made it to the end of the video with me, thank you very much. I do appreciate you staying till the end. I think it's well worth it. You will be seeing a lot more builds on video, on camera, in the coming days, weeks and months, if all goes well. Yeah, and I think that's just about enough from me. So, as always, peeps, whatever you're doing, do stay safe. Wherever you are, do stay blessed. And whatever life brings. Keep building. I love you all. Bye for now. Bye.